All right, so Marquise, you're back here for the third time now in the last 3 years. How does it feel for you to be here potentially 2 days away from achieving your ultimate goal here?
It's a blessing. I'm grateful for this team and the people around me, and I'm just glad to be here.
Absolutely. So what's team morale like, as you just rolled in yesterday? What's the feeling of the team like?
I feel like the team's just having a good time, enjoying the moment right now, and kind of the calm before the storm, just taking everything in.
What have you been taking away from the last time you saw JMU on this field when you stepped up big time for your team?
Both teams have grown. All the players that's on the team have grown, and they're a fairly mature team and older team now. So, they've grown a lot, and we've grown a lot.
What's the one thing that you know from your game from your game prep for this week that JMU really excels at?
Big playability, especially their receiving core. They have it all: size, strength, and great playmaking ability. So that's probably it.
And then one last thing, what would you need to do specifically for yourself for your team to be successful on Saturday?
Just be me, and that goes for everybody on this team. It don't take anything, any miraculous, anything that hasn't happened before, no out-of-body experience. So just be us and be true to what we do.
Thank you for your time, Marquise. What's team morale like at this point? You just arrived yesterday and you're preparing for Saturday still.
Team morale is high, obviously. We're all excited to be down here, and I think the biggest thing is just going to obviously try to stay locked in and, think about Saturday and the game plan, what we're going to be going against.
What's something that you know that JMU just really excels at on the other side of the ball for you?
JMU is a really good defense. All around. Starting at their D-line, they have a couple studs. They have some All-Americans, and they have linebackers, and their safeties too. They're really good. So, it's honestly, we're just gonna have to figure out. We're gonna have to make some adjustments at the beginning of the game. See how they play us, because they could play us completely different at the end of the day. How we've been practicing it. So really, it's just gonna be coming down to executing what we do every day. So.
And then final question here, just what do you need to do specifically on your 111th? What do you need to do for yourself to make sure your team is successful on Saturday?
I think I just need to do my 111th, and like you said, just obviously, I think blocking is gonna be a big thing this weekend for us. Just digging out the safeties, and then I also think just when my numbers call, make a play. That's the biggest thing.
Thank you so much for your time. So how does it feel to be here yet again here in Frisco, just a couple days away from potentially achieving your ultimate goal for the season?
It's a blessing to be able to be back in Frisco, Texas, playing another big time game. We've been preparing just like any other game, and we're gonna go out there and play to the best of our abilities.
So then, with you being back here now for multiple times now, do you know exactly what to expect, or has your preparation changed from year to year now? What's that kind of been like?
Preparation changes every year, but we still have the same mindset when we come down here. It's a business trip. Have fun while we're doing it, but we're mainly down here to play a football game.
So then, what do you know from your game prep so far that your opponent does really well at? What's something that JMU really excels at?
They have a pretty talented defense, and we've been preparing for that talented front seven, or the front D line, and we just keep going back to our our playbooks and our film, and just keep finding an edge for Saturday.
And last question here: what's the one thing that you yourself need to do in order for your team to be successful on Saturday?
Just go out there, play to the best of my abilities. Take all that preparation, and go exceed it on Saturday.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Trey, you're here now as a starting quarterback for this year. You were not part of the starting quarterback prep work last year. What's this like now, taking on this responsibility in a game like this?
It's super exciting. I'm just going to do everything I can to be prepared on Saturday and ready to go. Obviously, super thankful for the opportunity last year. I didn't play as big of a role, near as big, but just Easton and those guys, getting to learn from them and just watch how they go about their business down here was like.
What do you think team morale is like at this point? You just arrived yesterday.
Super excited. A lot of energy. Whether we're waking up or going to bed, a lot of energy. Guys are fired up. So super excited for Saturday.
Then what in your game prep so far? What's the one thing that's really stuck out to you and what JMU does well?
They're really talented and really well coached. I'd say those are the two biggest things. They don't mess up a whole lot. Don't have a whole lot of coverage bust. Schematically, they're a little bit different than what we've seen this year, but just a super talented team.
In terms of play style, do you think that you'll favor one way with the looks that you've gotten so far on film so far from JMU?
I don't know. I think we'll just, play kind of how we have been throughout the year. Not going to change a whole lot. Just super excited for this opportunity.
And then final question here, what's the one thing that you yourself need to do to make sure your team is able to succeed on Saturday?
Just continue to take care of the ball and just be efficient.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, Trey. How does it feel for you to be here just a couple days away from potentially reaching your ultimate goal of winning a national championship?
Yeah, it feels great being back in Frisco again. You got a lot of family from Texas, so I'm just coming back just like a second home again, so it's really fun.
Team morale, you just got off the bus yesterday. What's that like?
Fans cheering. Everyone's got their little cowboy hats on. Everyone's hyped about us being back, and it's like just being in Frisco all over again from last year. So it's a really fun atmosphere, and I'm excited to play.
With your increased role so far this season, what's been your role so far in preparing for this game compared to what you had to do last year?
Just not taking plays off. We've had about maybe 3 to 4 weeks of practice after Christmas break, and me and Christian and the other receivers, we've just been taking reps after reps after rep. Not taking a rep off, trying to be better, what we can do to make the offense better.
What you've seen on film so far from JMU, what's the thing that they really have done that they've stood out that stood out to you so far?
Their D-line, they got some good athletes on their D-line. They're a really physical D-line, and they're going to cause havoc one way or another. They're going to bring some type of blitzes, and we just got to be prepared on our side of the ball and just make plays happen.
And then final question here, what's the one thing that you yourself need to do to make sure that your team is successful on Saturday?
Take this game like a normal regular season game. There's nothing special about this game. It's just another game for us, and we just have to come into that with that mindset that it's just another game. Don't do anything out of our what we've been doing all year. Keep everything the same, and we'll come out victorious.
Thanks for your time. So, what's team morale like at this point? You just arrived yesterday. What's that like so far?
Well, everyone's been good. We got to the hotel last night, rather low-key evening. Ate at the hotel. Had a quick walkthrough outside, kind of just got settled. And then this morning we got up, had meetings already, and then we're going to get ready for practice. But our kids are excited to be here. They're excited. It's been a couple weeks of practice, and they're ready to get going.
In terms of preparing for this national championship game, is it more or less similar in the time you've been here as a coach?
Well, it's different being the head coach now, trying to keep my thumb on more things. As a defensive coordinator, I was only really concerned with maybe a third to two-thirds of the game. Now there's more logistical things that I'm probably trying to be more aware of, at least my first time down here as a head coach, trying not to screw it up.
All right, and then Chris Kleiman as well, the guy that you replaced this year, big part of your life. What type of role has he played in your preparation for this week?
Well, we've had a few conversations, not a ton. Of course, he had a football game to get ready for as well, and but I feel like my time with Chris was outstanding, and my previous trips down here with him gave me a lot of insight on how this operates and the things to navigate through or the hiccups that might be there.
And then final question here, Coach. Just one thing, if anything, that will be paramount to your team's success on Saturday. What would it be?
We need to be able to start fast. It doesn't matter if it's offense, defense, special teams. We need to play well early, and we need to create some confidence. And our kids believe they're gonna win, but we need to make sure then that is shown on the football field in our execution.
Thank you so much for your time, Coach.